Have you ever felt the person you love most drift away without a word, leaving you wondering what you did wrong? In today's video, we'll dive into the surprising psychology behind why someone who truly cares might ignore you, and how their silence often speaks louder than words. You'll discover that withdrawal isn't always a sign of fading affection, but instead a complex defense mechanism rooted deep in the unconscious mind. Stay with us until the end, and you'll learn the hidden fears that drive people to pull back when love becomes intense, and how to spot them early. The real reason chasing answers only pushes them further away, and what to do instead. A simple mindset shift that transforms distance from a defeat into an opportunity for growth, both for you and your relationship. Powerful questions to ask yourself that reveal whether this is a temporary test of your bond or a pattern you need to break. By the time we're done, you'll have a clear roadmap for responding with patience and self-reflection, so you can turn confusion into clarity and perhaps even bring your relationship to a deeper, more authentic level. Let's uncover the truth together. If you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, please click the subscribe button and ring the notification bell to stay updated on all our latest content. Love is so much more than the gentle exchange of "I love yous" or the warmth of a shared gaze. It is a profound plunge into the deepest corridors of our being. In my heart, I've come to see love as a secret expedition, one that beckons us into hidden passages where every tender hope and every buried fear stirs with vivid intensity. Jung taught us that our minds inhabit two realms: the bright, lucid domain of the conscious mind, where logic, plans, and reason hold sway, and the mysterious, shadow-filled expanse of the unconscious, where unspoken anxieties, old scars, and forgotten longings lie in wait. I find this hidden world endlessly fascinating and occasionally terrifying because it wields so much power over our hearts. We boast of knowing exactly what we want from love, companionship, safety, passion, but in truth, it is our unconscious that quietly scripts so many of the choices we make, guiding us with invisible hands. When love first unfurls its wings, it loosens these unseen threads and sets them dancing in the spotlight. Suddenly, the person we adore becomes a living canvas for our most private dreams, promises of laughter, filled mornings, shared sunsets, the promise of forever. Yet at the same time, they cast harsh light on our deepest insecurities, fears of abandonment, echoes of childhood hurts, the tremor of vulnerability we've long kept locked away. I've felt this personally, my throat tightening as I confronted a fear I thought I'd buried, my pulse racing at the fragile revelation that my heart could still break so easily. And here's the paradox I've discovered: in love's brilliant glare, our unconscious doesn't vanish, it awakens. Those silent whispers of doubt grow louder, urging us to question our worthiness of such intimacy. We convince ourselves we're in control, yet find our behavior shifting in ways we don't fully understand, pulling closer one moment, then stepping back the next, as though moved by some unseen current. It is both exhilarating and nerve-wracking, like standing on a cliff's edge with your arms wide open, exhilarated by the view but terrified of the drop. This is the true magic and the true challenge of love. It invites us to become explorers of our inner worlds. It tests our courage to confront what we've repressed, to tend to wounds we've long ignored, and to lean into vulnerability, even when our instinct is to retreat. And if we dare to follow where love leads into those shadowed chambers of the unconscious, we may emerge not only more connected to another, but more whole, more authentic, and infinitely more alive. When we fall headlong into love's embrace, the person we adore becomes our living mirror. They illuminate our highest dreams, those bright visions of laughter, shared adventures, and tenderness. But they also unmask our most fragile vulnerabilities. I've watched friends crumble under the shock of discovering that the wounds they believed long healed still throb beneath the surface. I felt my breath catch in my throat when I suddenly recognized a fear I thought I'd banished years ago. It's a bittersweet revelation, thrilling because of the intimacy it offers, and terrifying because it forces us to confront parts of ourselves we've tried so hard to forget. In those moments, love can feel like a roaring tide, exhilarating, yet dangerously overwhelming. When the currents of emotion surge too fiercely, our psyche instinctively builds walls of distance. We aren't rejecting love, we're desperately trying to protect ourselves from being swept away by feelings we cannot yet navigate. It's not that love ever truly disappears, it simply retreats, waiting in the shadows until we summon the courage to face our reflection again. And here's the truth I've learned. Each time we allow ourselves to peer into that mirror, even if it cuts us to the core, we grow a little stronger. Love's true power lies not only in the joy it brings, but in its ability to shine light on the hidden corners of our soul and, ultimately, to heal them. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons helpful, please comment number 1 below to let me know that you are still watching this video with me. Why someone withdraws? We like to believe that love is a safe harbor, a gentle balm for the soul, but the deeper it runs, the more that comforting illusion shatters. True love doesn't just wrap us in warmth, it lays bare our most fragile spots. Being fully seen, every quiver of doubt, every hidden scar can feel like flying high on pure joy. Yet for some, that very exposure is utterly terrifying. Imagine carrying the weight of past betrayals, maybe a childhood marked by abandonment, or a lover's deceit that split your heart in two. In those moments when someone steps close enough to touch those old wounds, your unconscious mind sounds the alarm. Don't get too close, it's dangerous. I've witnessed friends recoil in panic, their eyes brimming with fear they thought they'd long conquered. It's not malice, it's self-preservation on overdrive. People who crave control often react the same way. Love's unpredictability, its torrent of emotions, threatens the carefully constructed walls they've built, walls meant to keep pain out. To them, intense feeling feels like chaos, so they instinctively pull away, seeking the illusion of solidity over the uncertain currents of intimacy. Jung reminds us that the fears we tuck away in the darkest corners of our mind don't vanish like smoke, they simmer beneath the surface and erupt wherever they find a crack. I've witnessed this truth again and again in my relationships. The very anxieties we refuse to face manifest as distance, as an invisible wall built between two hearts that desperately want to connect. From the outside, it can feel like a cruel paradox. Someone professes their love, yet their actions drive you away. I've felt the sting of that contradiction, arms outstretched, only to grasp emptiness. But the real answer lies in the hidden motions of the psyche. Intimacy, with all its intoxicating bliss, also holds up a mirror to our deepest vulnerabilities. In one breath, closeness floods us with euphoria. In the next, it overwhelms us with a raw exposure we scarcely know how to bear. It's not a conscious decision to pull back. It's a reflex, forged in the fires of past wounds and ancient survival instincts. I remember a time when my own heart raced uncontrollably, not from excitement, but from the fear of being truly seen. In that moment, I recoiled an involuntary retreat to what felt safe, however lonely that safety might be. When the tide of love swells too fiercely, the unconscious mind hoists the anchor, dragging us to dry land until the storm subsides. It's a heartbreaking defense mechanism, both tender and tragic. They aren't turning away because they don't care. They're simply trying to stay afloat in a sea of emotions that terrify them. And though it fractures our hearts to watch them drift, this withdrawal, this desperate gasp for emotional air is often the only way their wounded soul can survive. Understanding this doesn't make the pain vanish, but it offers a bridge of compassion. It reminds us that behind every retreat lies a struggle for self-preservation, and behind every silence, a silent plea for healing. What to do when someone ignores you? When someone you care about retreats into silence, it can feel as if the ground beneath your feet has dissolved. Your chest tightens, your palms sweat, and every fiber of your being screams to bridge the gap. so you find yourself typing frantic messages at 2 a.m., staring at the screen until it hurts, replaying conversations in your mind, desperate for a trace of what went wrong. I've walked that weary road, my heart pounding like a trapped bird, each unanswered buzz deepening the ache of uncertainty. But here's the lesson I've carried close. Love is not a leash. The more you clutch, the more it slips away. You cannot force someone's heart to stay. You can only tend the garden of your own. In my own life, I've learned that genuine connection flourishes when it's given room to breathe, when it's trusted rather than coerced. So when you sense they need space, whether to sort through tangled emotions or simply to find their center, offer the most radical act of love I know: patience. True patience is more than waiting. It's a quiet promise whispered to their soul: I believe in you. I honor your process. I'm here when you're ready. It looks like resisting the urge to flood their inbox, choosing silence over pleading, and nurturing your calm instead of stoking the fires of possession. This kind of patience transforms panic into presence. It teaches us to sit with uncertainty and to trust that love, given its freedom, often returns with a deeper understanding, and sometimes, when we least expect it, it blossoms stronger than ever. Yet distance can carry another, more complicated message, a subconscious test. Some people unawe, of their areas back to see if love endures. It's unfair, yes, but deeply human. They need to know you won't abandon the bond when the seas grow choppy. True love, however, doesn't thrive on trials. It flourishes in trust and unwavering presence. So pause and ask yourself, is this a brief retreat, a momentary pause for reflection, or the start of a painful loop where they circle away and return again, never learning to stay? I've watched loved ones return transformed, their eyes clear with new understanding. I've also seen other prisoners in the same cycle, never daring to build a bridge toward lasting closeness. Ultimately, the question isn't will they come back, but are they ready to remain alongside you? Your peace depends on believing that genuine love, once nurtured with patience and respect, has the power to stay and to grow stronger rather than simply return. What if they never return? It's one of the cruelest riddles love can place before us. What if the voice that once filled our days with warmth and laughter simply drifts away, leaving us stranded in a landscape of lonely echoes? I remember the shock of that first moment, the way my chest tightened, as though hope itself was slipping through my fingers. In the sudden void, my mind became a frantic storyteller, replaying every shared smile, every whispered promise, hunting for clues in fragments of conversation. I've lain awake in the dark, heart hammering, listening for phantom footsteps that never came. And yet, in those nights of silent agony, I discovered an unexpected truth. When love doesn't return, when the circle of us remains forever open, that very absence can become our most compassionate teacher. We've been raised to believe that love is a treasure to hoard, a possession measured by hours spent side by side or by how fiercely we cling to one another. But I've learned, sometimes painfully, that genuine love refuses to be caged. It isn't measured by possession or duration, but by its capacity to illuminate our growth. True love acts like a mirror held before our soul, showing us not only what we cherish, but also what we must heal. When someone steps away and never comes back, it doesn't necessarily signal a failure on your part. It may simply indicate that their path through your life was never meant to be permanent. Perhaps they appeared to rouse hidden strengths you forgot you possessed, or to confront you with fears you'd long buried beneath daily routine. Maybe they stirred dormant dreams, awakening a passion for life's possibilities you hadn't dared to explore until now. In my journey, I've come to see departures as invitations. They beckon us to turn inward, to sift through the ashes of heartache, and to unearth the embers of our resilience. I've learned that the sting of goodbye can sharpen our instincts for what truly matters: self-respect, authenticity, and the courage to embrace uncertainty. Yes, it hurts to feel unmoored, to wonder if the bond you treasured was ever real. But that pain is a signal flare. calling you home to yourself and reminding you that your self-worth does not depend on another's return. So if someone you love never walks back into your life, don't mistake their absence for a verdict on your beauty or capacity to love. Instead, honor the lessons they left behind, the strength you discovered in solitude, the clarity that bloomed from sorrow, and the vision of a future shaped by your hand. In that space between what was and what might be, you'll find the freedom to write your next chapter, one defined not by loss, but by the boundless potential of your own heart. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons helpful, please comment number 2 below to let me know that you are still watching this video with me. In the aftermath of a final goodbye, you might catch yourself wondering which pain hurts more, the sting of loss or the terror of standing alone in your skin. I've wrestled with that solitude, the late-night emptiness, when you expect their call, only to hear your heartbeat instead. And yet, in that stillness, I discovered a fiercer flame within myself. I learned to savor my own company, to nourish dreams that once felt impossible, and to trust that my worth does not hinge on another's return. If someone touched your soul so deeply that echoes of their laughter still haunt your quiet moments, then know this, their brief presence was not in vain. Even a fleeting connection can crack open the shell around your heart, letting in light and warmth you didn't know you craved. That spark can guide you toward new relationships, both with others and with yourself, grounded in honesty, self-awareness, and the courage to love without guarantees. So, if they never walk back into your life, let their absence be the beginning of your grand comeback. Allow the lessons of that love to infuse every step you take, the humility to admit where you hurt, the compassion to forgive yourself and them, and the resilience to open your heart again, wiser, braver, and infinitely more alive. The final truth about love and distance. There's a profound reality most of us overlook. When someone we hold dear drifts away, too often, they don't even comprehend why they're leaving. I've watched friends slip into the distance. Without warning, one moment we were sharing laughter. The next they were gone, leaving me bewildered and tearful, while inside their hearts raged a tempest they could scarcely name. Love's bright flame can suddenly ignite old shadows, a childhood wound, a long-forgotten fear, an insecurity buried so deep it only needs the slightest spark to rush back into roaring life. When someone vanishes, it can feel like a personal indictment, as if their departure proves you weren't lovable enough. But in truth, their absence more often acts as a mirror held before their soul, reflecting anxieties they've tucked away for so long, they've forgotten they existed. I've learned the hard way that chasing them for an explanation only fans the flames of their panic. Pressuring for answers is like gripping a fragile bird too tightly. What began as an attempt to keep them close only urges them to strain harder against your grasp until they break free. In those empty hours when you reach for a text that never arrives, it's natural to wonder, what did I do wrong? Why can't they just stay? I've asked those questions through sleepless nights, my heart pounding with each imagined scenario. Yet with time, I discovered that real compassion often lies not in demanding clarity, but in offering kindness and, paradoxically, distance. It means trusting that their flight isn't a betrayal, but an unconscious call for space to sort through the storm inside them. By granting that space, you create the breathing room they need to face their reflections, to acknowledge old hurts, and name the fears they've been running from. It's a painful act of love. Yes, because it feels counterintuitive to loosen your hold when your heart aches for closeness. But in doing so, you honor both their struggle and your capacity for patience. And sometimes, in that quiet expanse, they return not as the person they were, but transformed, aware of their shadows, ready to stand beside you in genuine intimacy. If, however, they never come back, remember this: their departure was never a measure of your worth. It was simply the echo of their inner journey. And in facing that truth, you claim your power to heal, to grow, and to love without needing another soul to stay behind as proof of your value. Giving space can feel counterintuitive, even heartbreaking. Yet in my own life, I discovered that patience can be the most compassionate act of love. By resisting the urge to demand answers, we allow both parties the freedom to breathe, to feel, and to examine the shadows lurking within. It's in that silent pause, when neither demands nor defenses are flaring, that true self-reflection can begin. Still, absence alone doesn't heal. The real question is not will they come back, but if they do, will they return with fresh awareness? Transformation isn't guaranteed. Many drift back unchanged, looping through the same fears and patterns. But those rare souls who choose to confront their vulnerabilities, the ones who whisper, "I see my fear, and I want to grow beyond it," are capable of forging the deepest, most resilient love. Because genuine love isn't about sidestepping fear, it's about leaning into it together, hand in trembling hand. It's about saying, "I see your scars, I feel your tremors, and I choose to stay." When two hearts choose growth over comfort, distance becomes a bridge rather than a barrier, and love, at last, finds its true home. Thank you for taking this journey with me into the hidden depths of love and distance. Now, I want to hear from you. What insight has spoken to your heart the most? What one lesson will you carry forward and put into practice in your own life and relationships? Share your thoughts in the comments below. I read every single one. If you enjoyed this video, please leave your comment below, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more heartfelt explorations. See you next time.